Mr. Chair.
I take a call on behalf of New Zealand First in the Trade Safeguard Measures Bill. Mr. Chairman, back in 2009, March 2009, the Under-Secretary of Foreign Affairs, John Hayes, at the time, said the bill's purpose is in particular to allow New Zealand to apply safeguard measures at the border in accordance with the WTO rules adopted in Marrakesh back in April 1994. Mr. Hayes then went on to say that the bill states that such measures are intended to provide temporary protection to a domestic industry from serious injury caused by increased imports. Many of us can recall there was an instance with whiteware a number of years ago where Fisher and Paykel had concerns here in New Zealand because whiteware in their eyes was being dumped on the New Zealand market, causing great difficulties for the domestic manufacturer here because they thought there was unfair advantage in that significant quantities were coming from a foreign source affecting the domestic market here. And the government at the time did investigate that situation. And this bill is very much to protect those sorts of situations. And again, New Zealand First would ask the question as well, why was this initiated under the Labor government back in 2008, and why is it now 2014? And if the purpose of this bill is to protect our, as Mr. Hayes says, is to protect our domestic industry from serious injury caused by increased imports in situations like that, why has this government taken the best part of 6 years to get to this committee stage in the House? This is an appalling situation and beggars belief as to why our domestic manufacturers don't have a level of protection under the WTO rules such as this bill brings in. The Honourable Simon Power, he tried to put this through in 2009 and he did hang his hat on this, and as we have heard, it was then passed on to the Honourable John Banks and now to the Honourable Mr. Foss. Mr. Chairman, New Zealand is a very small market. We've only got 4.5 million people. We have a very small manufacturing base. Those manufacturers that we do have come under intense pressure at times from very significant global players, global suppliers and major importers into this country who could literally swamp and overpower many of our local domestic manufacturing sources. In this respect, this is a very important bill so that there are safeguards, that there are trade safeguards, as the bill's name is put, to ensure that we don't have unfair international conglomerates coming in and swamping such a small market. We are less than the size of Sydney in population, and we have a fraction of the manufacturing of the likes of Australia, and yet Australia has far more in place to protect and assist their manufacturing base to ensure that their manufacturers have some safeguards. New Zealand has been very much an open market, and in fact New Zealand is often used as a test case. Manufacturers around the world often use New Zealand to trial products because we are an island nation and we are somewhat isolated from the rest of the world, and our particular country is sometimes used by manufacturers out of Europe, out of North America and out of Asia to test and trial products where they wouldn't wish to do it in their own home markets or in significant markets where it would be far more costly. But as a result of them coming to New Zealand and perhaps using us as the test case, as the guinea pig, it can at times have serious consequences for fledgling manufacturers here in this country who can be absolutely swamped by such a venture. So this is very important, Mr. Chairman, that New Zealand has this in place, that we can then go to the WTO under the WTO World Trade Organisation rules and raise concerns if we feel that this is happening. And Mr. Speaker, if this government is truly, if it will walk the talk in terms of giving greater support to New Zealand manufacturing, greater support to New Zealand business and greater support to try and grow this economy and provide more jobs, then we need the safeguards in place as provided under this bill to ensure that our companies in New Zealand can level peg it with the big one, Mr. Chair, that can level peg it with very, very large multinationals globally. Mr. Speaker, New Zealand First supports this bill, but we support it on the basis that we get on with it, we get it moved through this House, we get it into place, and we put this legislation in place. We had a similar situation with the RENA off Tauranga, this is very close to it, because legislation was not passed, and had it been passed, well, Mr. Speaker, had this been passed, certain instances perhaps in New Zealand would have been better protected. Likewise, had the legislation on the RENA been passed, New Zealand would have been $30 million better off by not having to pay out to overseas interests. So, Mr. Speaker, tardy legislation does not help New Zealand interests. In this instance, where this is in the interest of New Zealand business, New Zealand First supports it, and we commend this to the House with swift promptness.
Paul Goldsmith.
Move that the question be now.
The question is that the question be now put. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. So, party votes called for. Ask the clerk for a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
34 opposed.
Green Party.
14 opposed.
New Zealand First.
7 in favour.
Maori Party.
3 in favour.
Mana.
1 opposed.
Act New
1
Zealand.
in favour.
United Future.
1 in favour.
Brendan Horan. Any other votes?
Members, the ayes are 71, the noes are 49. The question will be put. The question is at Clause 1 stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. The question is at Clause 2 stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. I will report this bill with amendment. You're finished.
The House is resumed. Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Speaker, the committee has considered the Land Transport and Road User Charges Legislation Amendment Bill and reports it without amendment and divided into the following bills: Land Transport Amendment Bill Number 2, Road User Charges Amendment Bill. The committee has also considered the Industry Training and Apprenticeships Amendment Bill and reports it without amendment. The committee has also considered the Social Security, Fraud Measures and Debt Recovery Amendment Bill and reports it without amendment. The committee has also further considered the Trade Safeguard Measures Bill and reports it with amendment. Mr. Speaker, I move that the report be adopted.
The question is that the report be adopted. Those of that opinion will say aye. Contrary, no. The ayes have it. So the Land Transport Amendment Bill Number 2, the Road User Charges Amendment Bill, the Industry Training and Apprenticeships Amendment Bill, the Social Security Fraud Measures and Debt Recovery Amendment Bill and the Trade Safeguard Measures Bill are set down for third reading next sitting day. And we call now on Government Order of the Day Number 5.
Victims of Crime Reform Bill, Committee Stage.
I declare the House in committee for the consideration of the Employment Relations Amendment Bill. Sorry. Oh, sorry, we're up to victims of crime. Apologise.